Did you know President Jacob Zuma's two children, Duduzane Zuma and Duduzile Zuma, they were not born in South Africa. They were born in Mozambique.
Yes, I know. I'm aware that Jacob Zuma's kids were born in Mozambique. I've seen it in, what was that guy's interview?
Penwell.
Penwell, the Black Panther. I saw it from there, and I was very shocked. I'm like, how were they born there? And their father is a real Zulu from South Africa.
And there's an explanation for that. But guys, we're not making this up. There's a confession from Duduzane Zuma explaining this whole thing. We're gonna play for you guys, and then we're gonna get into this. Watch this.
From my side, born in Maputo, Mozambique.
Obrigado.
Yeah. Como estás? Tudo bem?
Oh, snap.
You know
no,
what it is?
that's all I know. That's all I know.
Que nós, sapase.
Let me drink some water.
That's
Please
actually-
carry on.
Okay. Que pasa, ese?
So you were born in Maputo and Mozambique.
Those are three different languages, Chief. Come on, you gotta recognize that at least. Just learn the greeting.
Ngumfana waseNewcastle, ngazi
You
Zulu.
gotta be global in your
Because
approach.
of rugby, ngazi Afrikaans.
No, you must be global in your thinking and your approach. Don't keep
When I'm a
it
big
local.
boy like you, boy, I'll
No,
travel and
Chief.
learn the languages.
You need to be done already.
No, you're right.
Okay, but
I'll make an
anyways.
effort.
So moved around, lived in Zimbabwe, in Harare, spent a bit of time in Lusaka,
How much time?
Zambia. So this would have been the early part of up until maybe my early teens.
Okay.
Yeah, just before.
Spoke
Before.
Spoke
Before-
Portuguese?
Actually, Portuguese was my first language,
Okay.
before English,
Is that what you were speaking on a daily basis?
on a daily basis, man.
Jeez. And then you moved to Zim, and what language you speaking
So,
there?
at that time, learning Shona. Shona was the language in that part of Zimbabwe.
Hectic. Your dad's not around these times.
He's in and out. So it was actually interesting when you look back, when I look back, and I get it.
So yeah, he just said it. Was born because his father was in exile during apartheid. So it's a time where his father had to run away from South Africa and go to exile, go into hiding. He found himself in different countries, and then he found himself in Mozambique. That's where he created Duduzile Zuma and Duduzane Zuma, and they were born there. They were born in exile. But according to the law, some people, I'm sure they have questions like, is it possible? What do you think before I read to you the law?
Okay.
Do you think it's possible for someone born in Mozambique and their father is South African for them to be South African?
Okay, I must give you my authentic and honest answer before you reading. I would say they are not South African because they were not born in South Africa. The mother was South African.
No, the mother is not South African.
The mother is not South African, most probably from Mozambique. And the father was South African and he found himself in Mozambique and his kids gave birth. They were born in Mozambique. I think they are not South African. I feel like you have to be born here in South Africa
To
for
be a
you
South
to
African.
be South African.
But okay, let me read what the law says before people start throwing their opinions. Let me read the law of South Africa about this issue. Okay, guys, there's the law. I'm gonna show you there. I'm gonna put everything on the screen. Kids born in Mozambique can only identify as South African if they legally qualify for South African citizenship. Birthplace alone doesn't make someone South African. Here's how it works under the South African citizenship law. Citizenship by birth, Section 2 of the Citizenship Act. A person is a South African citizen by birth if they were born in South Africa and at least one parent was a South African citizen or a permanent resident at the time of birth. So if a child is born in Mozambique, that first condition isn't met, but they might still qualify under the other rules. What are the other rules? Citizenship by descent, Section 3. a child born outside of South Africa can still be South African by descent if at least one parent was a South African citizen at the time of birth and the birth was registered at a South African embassy or consulate abroad. So if a South African couple was living in Mozambique and had a baby there and they reported the birth of the South African authorities, that child is legally South African by descent. Okay, the third part, since the mother was Mozambican. So it says if parents are Mozambican, if both parents are Mozambican citizens and the child is born in Mozambique, the child is Mozambican, not South African. Even if they later move to South Africa, they could apply for South African citizenship later though. Naturalization after living in SA legally for 5+ years or permanent residency before eventually qualifying for citizenship. So in a nutshell, what they're saying is that if two parents were born in Mozambique and they're Mozambicans and the child cannot be South African.
That's fair.
Yes. But if one parent is South African, the child can be South African if maybe the father or the mother was there when the child, of course the mother will be there. But if the father was there when the child was born, because he's South African, the child can automatically also get a South African citizenship.
Wow.
So yeah, I think President Jacob Zuma, Duduzane Zuma, he is a South African, even though was born in Mozambique. So you see the law is tricky.
Yeah.
It's very tricky, the law.
Because as someone I already said, I think even most people would think that that if you are not born in South Africa, you don't qualify to be South African.
Yeah, but that's people's opinions.
Yeah.
There's the law and there's what people, because there's people's emotions and feelings and there's the law. The law is not emotional like people.
Yes.
So people like, you're born in Mozambique, you can't be South African. But the father is South African. You see, these are very complex conversations. I don't think Operation Tutula they're willing to talk about these things.
No, they are not.
These are very complex.
They are even willing to go against that one if one parent was South African at the time of birth.
Yeah, they would fight it so bad.
They would fight it so bad.
They would fight it like they did with Chidima.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think it's fair, like the one that if the child was born, let's say he was born in Mozambique and the South African parent was there at the time of birth, do you think that's a fair law?
It's a fair law because imagine if it was you, maybe you are visiting Mozambique and then you happen to meet someone and then in Mozambique and you make a baby, but you are a South African. Shouldn't that baby when you come back be a South African because you're going to come back to South Africa?
Yeah.
So should that baby, because they were born there, is Mozambican, you're a South African. They can have both citizenship. They can be both Mozambican and South African by birth and also by blood, by descent.
Yeah, that's kind of tricky. That's very tricky.
It's tricky. But the law is very...
The law.
Yeah, the law spoke. The law is not beating around the bush. The law said what the law said.
But you can tell from that Duduzane.
That was born there.
Yeah, because of the way he speaks and his accent and him speaking different type of language. And he mentioned that he later on moved to Zimbabwe, right?
Yeah, he travels a lot.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting.
And Duduzile, they are twins, these people. Duduzane is a boy, Duduzile is a girl. And they are twins. And they both don't speak local language. They don't speak Zulu. They speak English.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell from their accent.
Yeah.
Jacob Zuma once mentioned this. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's well-known information, you know. Many people know it. But of course, there's those like you who didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know.
But this is public information. Yeah, but yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, that's nice. That's very interesting. So that means people like Zuma don't support Operation Tutula. We always bring it up.
I don't think President Jacob Zuma would support Operation Tutula being a man who has come from a history where he was supported by foreigners
people,
during
yes.
apartheid. They took him in their countries. That's why he ended up in Mozambique. They
Yes.
opened their doors for him.
Yes.
They opened the borders for the people who were going into exile to go and get rescue, education, military. You see,
training them.
yeah. So I don't think he would hate. Maybe he would hate illegal foreigners,
Yes.
but I don't think he hates foreigners like just because they're foreigners.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
To think about it, that's weird. Because of a border, now you're a foreigner. Now you're unknown.
Imagine.
Nah, I don't think it's gonna.
And the borders don't exist.
The borders don't exist. So why are they crying so much about foreigners while there's no borders?
There's no borders. That's why foreigners, they come and go. They're coming, like, who's stopping them?
No one's
There's
stopping
no border.
them. No one's gonna stop them.
How not border?
Like, especially when you reach there where they call the borders, you'd be like, bruh, I have this much money and stuff like that. And then they just let you in. But I find it very interesting for Duduzane.
Yeah, but it is what it is, guys. Thank you for having us this side.
Welcome.
To teach you something about Duduzane Zuma. For nobody, ma. Any. Yeah, but it is what it is.
Thank you guys for watching up until the end. Catch me on my next video. Peace.